The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com.
Bottrell from the sharp angle, fires and she scores! Jennifer Bottrell from along the goal line. Quick one-timer, score! Jana Hefford, her second of the night. Exquisite finishing touch. Apps on a breakaway. Apps moving in. Wrist shot, she scores! Jillian Apps, the breakaway speed and finishing ability.
You got a gift, son. With that gift comes a lot of responsibility. That's why we're gonna pull you out of school. We're gonna get you a big-time agent. We're gonna hold out for the biggest pro sports contract possible.
Okay, Pop.
We're gonna make heaps of cash.
The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com.
Bottrell from the sharp angle, fires and she scores! Jennifer Bottrell from along the goal line. Quick one-timer, scored! Jada Hefford, her second of the night. Exquisite finishing touch. Apps on a breakaway. Apps moving in. Wrist shot, she scored! Jillian Apps, the breakaway speed and finishing ability. Beautiful rendition of both the Canadian and American national anthems. Welcome back to the USCHO Game of the Week. Game 2 about set to get underway here between the host Middlebury Panthers in their season opener and the Elmira Soaring Eagles, 4-0 on the season. And both teams looking to get back to a place they've been before. That is the top of the Division III college hockey world. Middlebury had won 3 consecutive national championships before Plattsburgh took the crown last year. Elmira won back-to-back championships prior to Middlebury's reign. And Paul Nemitz-Carlson has a top squad, a lot of returnees, only 1 freshman in the lineup tonight, so a lot of continuity for the Soaring Eagles this year, and they have high hopes. They were very close to Plattsburgh last year. Look at the season series those two teams played, overtime, 1-goal games throughout the course of the season. They were not far away. For Middlebury, for Bill Manigo in his 20th season, this is about as unknown a Middlebury squad as you're probably going to find, replacing an outstanding class of seniors. Talk about Abby Kurtz-Barron, Shannon Sylvester, Shannon Tarrant, Allison Graddock, Emily McNamara, who's now an assistant coach, Ellen Sargent as well. Those are players who won 3 national championships and got to an NCAA final in their 4th season. They do nothing but winning. And talking to Coach Manigo this week, he said, the scoring, losing the points, yeah, that's one thing, but losing the leadership, losing the experience, that is something else altogether. And that's the question mark as he puts 8 first-year players into the lineup this evening. And we see right off the bat a couple of them in the starting lineup as well. The good news for both teams, known quantities in goal is always a good place to start. Lonnie Wright, she was the unknown last year trying to replace Kate Kogut, stepped up big time in her first season. Allison Coverly, she's been a known quantity for a couple of seasons, now a junior, and she has split time pretty much evenly with Captain Kara McGurry, who we'll hear from tomorrow. Middlebury, of course, in the home whites in Kenyon Arena, this expansive, beautiful facility in Middlebury, Vermont, on a beautiful, cool November night. Elmira, of course, the advantage of playing a couple weeks of hockey. Middlebury in their first contest here this weekend, and Elmira in the offensive zone 36 seconds into the opening period. Lob to the front, taken back by the Panther defense. And Anna McNally, one of those newcomers for the Panthers, pushing it up right wing. Bill Manigo very optimistic about the prospects for his freshman class. Thinks they can have an impact early, but he doesn't have quite the returning talent he used to. Is right with the first save of the day off a funny hop off the boards, and she is introduced to the game with a blast from point-blank range. But as she was a year ago, we did her very first collegiate game. It was in this tournament, albeit on the road against Plattsburgh. And in that first period in particular, Lonnie Wright under siege, keeping her team in the game. And even though she didn't win that night, kind of served notice that Middlebury was going to be in good hands between the pipes, even without the All-American Kate Kogut no longer at their disposal. So right back for year two, and Bill Manigo saying, as you'd expect, a lot more comfortable, more confident. Has improved. And here's a 2-on-1 for the Panthers. Ashley Barrows lobs it across. The wrist shot is sent high and wide by Karen Levin. Levin on a team that is less experienced. She is one of those proven commodities last year. Close to 30 points as a offensive-minded defenseman. And without the All-American Shannon Tarrant, they're going to ask a lot of Karen Levin in this 2-3 system. Ask her to be aggressive and be even more productive than she was before. Nice centering pass. Wrist shot does not go through off the stick of Molly Vitt. Vitt starting the cycle to Barrows. Barrows letting it go behind the net. So Middlebury a couple of good chances in the first 2 minutes. Elmira with a decent scoring opportunity as well. And you see them trying to float Lauren DePaul into the neutral zone, but that pass broken up by Tanya Kenny. Kenny, a player that Manigo singled out as one he hopes can really step up into a bigger role this year as Vitt tracks it through center ice. Poked back ahead. Jamie Huntley on left wing for the Soaring Eagles has Lindsay Laxton driving the center. Huntley trying to get it to the front, hopped over Laxton's stick, rolls back toward goal. Sharp angle shot is saved. Wright's got the follow as well. So Lonnie Wright and Allison Coverly both in the game early. We stay scoreless, 2-11 gone. Panther Cardinal Classic has become a staple of the Division III landscape. And earlier today, Plattsburgh extended their unbeaten streak to 34 consecutive games. The line's been dumped off the draw on a spill. 2-0, very blue-collar victory. Danielle Blanchard, both goals. Denise McCulloch kept Williams in it for a long time, especially in those latter two periods where Plattsburgh got the job done, and they await the winner of this one. Middlebury and Elmira did not meet last year, first time in several years. Here's a chance perhaps, rolling in front for the Panthers. No shot taken by Jessica Bennett, and it rolls back to center where Huntley will scoop it down. Paul Nemitz-Carlson very optimistic that this would be a big opportunity for his team to make a statement about where they stand with their returning players. But as always, even though they've played 4 games, certainly no one of the level of Middlebury just yet. So a little bit of an unknown quantity even on that side. But as we mentioned, and you'll hear from him later in the intermission, a lot more familiarity. That breeds a lot more advancement for the team. He's talking about being able to spend more time on moving things forward as opposed to maybe last year or the year before when this team was predominantly freshmen and sophomores. Middlebury now trying to clear their zone on the far side. The line was not held. Elmira is trapped off sides. Now they get waved off as Margie Billings having trouble in her own zone. Pushing forward, down behind the net. Catherine Shears trying to feed it in front to Farron Hart, and Wright will settle it down for the cover. Lonnie Wright in her sophomore season, 5'8", out of Reading, Massachusetts, played at Heights St. Mark's. And last year as a freshman, mentioned started the season opener. 13-3, 1.64 goals against, 92% save percentage. The other one, Allison Coverly, mentioned she's a junior now, pretty much splits it right down the middle with Kara McGurry, the senior. That's really the 3rd year in a row they've been platooning the position. Coverly in her career now, 26 appearances, 20 wins, 5 defeats, 1.79. As a puck rolls just by off the stick of Anne-Marie Salino. Well, again, we talked about Danielle Blanchard in the opener, one of the most talented and dangerous players in D3. Anne-Marie Salino certainly in that category as well. And here she is on the backhand. Score! Anne-Marie Salino showing the soft hands. And Middlebury, a 1-0 lead. Left with 5 minutes gone. And you see what Anne-Marie Salino can do. A very smooth player, makes it look easy. Has a skating stride, not totally dissimilar to Danielle Blanchard. A little bit of a hunch with a very smooth stride and very soft hands. You saw it there. The patience in front, off the loose puck, took it, gathered it, went to the backhand, and went to the roof. With Coverly down off a little bit of a defensive breakdown, and Middlebury strikes first. They have a 1-0 lead, 4:13 gone in the first period of play. So Salino, who was this team's leading scorer 2 years ago as a freshman when she came in, had a huge impact, 47 points, playing alongside the great Emily Keyson and leading Middlebury to a national championship. Last year kind of played back more in the 2-3 system, so her numbers went down. Still had 34 points and 14 goals, but this year back up front, looking to show her offensive talents once again as she monitors here on the forecheck through center. Elmira, though, has plenty of weapons. Jenna McCall is one of those, and McCall, all 4'11" of her, drops it into the zone. Middlebury quickly back out to center. It's fired in on left wing. Fired around, but not out. Molly Vitt with the hold. Down low, McCall back on it. McCall with 5 points already this year. 12 goals, 31 points as a freshman a year ago. Lead pass to Lauren DePaul. Handoff to McCall. She has space and some speed over the line. In the circle, her shot whistles just wide of the far post. Lively ricochet up the wall. Lindsay Laxton in on the forecheck. Barrows trying to clear with the reach. Couldn't get it out. Jamie Kivy broke that up. And it's Jamie Huntley on the far side for Elmira, pushing deep to the corner. Laxton heads to the front, as does McCall. The outlet up top instead is Kivy. Kivy puts it back down into the corner, and the chase is on from there. Middlebury looking to create some space for their breakout. Still hemmed in for the moment, though. Elmira, good attack zone. Now you get a shot through to right. Heavy traffic in front, heavy contact. There's been a lot that's been let go early on both sides. And now Middlebury with the clearance as Kivy takes over at center. Slings it rink wide. Amanda Ritzel, that lone first-year player, and a player that, talking to assistant coach Shannon Clement before the game, said they have high hopes for her. She is the only freshman on the team, a team that was predominantly young. That means they don't have to really retool as much here, and so most of the team now, sophomores, juniors, and a handful of seniors as well, with the face-off now back by the junior Coverly. Fahrenheit will take it against Erica Nakamura. Nakamura, junior forward, good speed, moves behind the net, hands off to Margie Billings. Billings traps it around far side. Anastasia Steele-Norton digging for it down low, but it's Nakamura walking for the sharp angle shot. Coverly had it shut down. The loose puck rolls to the far side, where it's gathered by Jessica Bennett. Bennett down low to Nakamura. Nakamura turning and protecting on the handoff as the cycle resumes. Broken up, though, by Tiffany Hart, latest in the Hart family to join the Elmira program. Fahrenheit is out there as well right now as it's forced to the front. Bodies go down. Coverly a little bit out of position, and now able to get the leg in front of it. Covers it up for the draw. Both teams going for wholesale changes. Salino hops over the boards for Middlebury, and Kayla Cody. Haven't called her numbers just yet, but we will plenty of times tonight. 5'10", now a junior, now a captain for this Elmira team, has been their leading scorer a year ago. 40 points each of her first 2 years. Off to the good start again, is off the draw. Salino trying to knife in. That was denied on the poke check by Rebecca Coakley. And it's Cody slapping it around near side. Catherine Shears harassed from behind. Salino steals it, walks out in front, turns it, and Coverly had the near post sealed. Salino had a passing option, and Anna McNally went for the shot herself, and Coverly shut it down as Salino already with one goal on the board looking for number 2. McNally will take the face-off against Cody. One forward, McNally with a wrist shot. It floaters in. Didn't get all of that one. Might have been partially blocked by Ritzel, and Coverly covers up. One thing that you notice between these two teams, Middlebury builds its team around speed and in space to play on this bigger sheet. Elmira, one of the bigger teams you'll find in Division III. A lot of size and strength. Kayla Cody, a classic power forward out there. And a lot of players on this team, 5'9", 5'10", 5'11". They can use their size to bang if they can get in tight. Right here, though, Middlebury doing a nice job as McNally passing in front. Salino couldn't quite catch up to it, and Coverly forwards it away. Cody now moving forward. Eludes the first level, carries through center, and a 3-on-2 if they hurt. Right wing side, Cody trying to catch up. Back check is coming from Randy Dumont. Puck tips high in the air behind the back glass. Tanya Kenny slings it in space. Salino trying to catch up at the end of her shift. That was broken up at center ice. And over comes Catherine Shears, who in turn is dispossessed as she hits Middlebury real estate. The Shears trapped off sides. Tiffany Hart flings it into the zone. Middlebury quickly moves back to center ice, and Dumont will cannon it down. Barros closes the gap on Tiffany Hart. Middlebury sends two strong to the puck. Elmira beats the forecheck and moves forward. It's McCall 2-on-2, crisscrossing with Lauren DePaul. McCall on left wing, sweeping wide. Monitored step for step by Andrea Bono. Another one of those freshman class. And Nora Bergman, also a rookie herself, 5'1" out of Concord, Massachusetts. Wraps it around, but not out. Held by Steele Norton. Taken back now. Middlebury patient on the breakout. They find the outlet. It's Molly Vitt, left wing side through center. Vitt cruising over the line, but Barros a step too far and incurs the offside. So we'll get the stoppage here with 8:49 gone in the first period. 4 shots aside, and Anne-Marie Salino, pretty backhand tally in front. So the Stars have come out in the goal-scoring column here today. Blanchard had both goals for Plattsburgh in the 2-0 win earlier. And Salino starts her first season on the right foot, scoring a goal to give Middlebury a 1-0 lead. Mini 2-on-1 for Elmira, but Laxton fumbles the drop pass. Steele Norton able to hold the blue line. No, not quite. Pulled it back across, and we'll get the whistle from the linesman for the stoppage. So reminder, day 2 of this Panther Cardinal Classic on USCHO tomorrow. Williams will take on the loser of this game at 2 p.m., and then we'll have Plattsburgh against the winner in the championship of this opening season tournament. And if you believe in developing trends and small data points, the winner of this tournament the last 2 years has, in fact, gone on to win the national championship. Although perhaps that's a function of the fact that the teams in this tournament are always good, so they're always going to be there at the end of the year. Rister from along the wall. Ireland trying to spring free. That was knocked away from her, and it's Huntley up right wing. Jamie Huntley through center. On into the corner. We're going to walk it out the short side. Good idea, but couldn't find the angle to jam it home on the wraparound. Huntley's been active early. The push is on far side. Middlebury has 2 defenders. And again, the physical play mounts as Erica Godwin got in between the 2 white shirts. Continue to wrestle for it on the far side. Margaret McDonald, senior captain for this team, holding her ground nicely. That's her strength. The defensive defenseman is McDonald, and it's sent on through by Nakamura. Coverly will play it aside to Natasha Yates. Yates, number 77 in purple, slingshots the net, feeds Tori McNeil, who began her career here for Middlebury for transferring. McNeil now a senior out of Massey, Ontario, and the call is made for icing. A rare whistle. Has been good flow to this one, especially considering Middlebury playing just its first game of the season. 10-16 off the first period clock. Salino the only goal. No penalties thus far. Some physical play, and you would think physical play over the course of the game, if we're going to let it go, would play to the strength of the bigger, stronger team, which is Elmira. Salino working in neutral ice. Ritzel, very aware of 15 in white, banks it away from her. Catherine Shears, ooh, there's a collision at center with Randy Dumont, and again we play on. McNally pressing the issue along the blue line. Cody, though, comes back to help out her defense. Uses Kivy as a shield to go rink wide. Ritzel floats a saucer pass, tipped on through by Melanie Henshaw, and here's Shears with a nifty move to get free. Shears, though, losing the puck as she reaches the corner, tucks it behind the net. Broken up for the moment. Taken back by Heidi Woodworth. Woodworth still has her pass intercepted. Shears floats a backhander toward Cody. That was intercepted and tipped away by Tanya Kenny. So Shears having the good shift, and now she'll head off for a fresh body. As Middlebury gets the clear, the pass behind Salino. This should be an icing. And there's the call. Catherine Shears can play forward, can play defense, do a lot of things for this team. Multi-talented player. And we'll have the draw back by Alani Wright. Wright gets set, face-offs to her right, controlled by the Panthers. Bono spinning away from the forecheck, banks it lightly off the wall, and away goes Karen Levin. Levin with speed through center. Nice toe drag move to step in between 2 defenders. Cannot get the shot away as Coverly comes sliding out the challenge. Levin lost her stick in the aftermath, gets back to it. She's available in front if she can pick it up, but was a bit late in retrieving the lumber, so no centering pass for her. And it's Elmira looking for transition, and again we see the cheater As DePaul floats out into the neutral zone, that pass broken up, back the other way, Barros with a drive, and Coverly, who is partially screened by her defender, cradles it with the glove. Wholesale changes for both sides once again. Julia Ireland will take the draw for the Panthers. Carly Richardson doing the honors for the Soaring Eagles, and the foot race on back in the Middlebury end. Lindsay Laxton works it free and fires it wide as Wright was bowled over in the crease by a diving Huntley. Back the other way it goes. Yates, the first player to it, wraps it off the wall of Rebecca Coakley. Coakley to center ice, but no further. Good chances for Elmira, not getting as many on mark as they would like to test Wright. Both teams have had their looks in offensive real estate. Middlebury now with the possession down deep in the Elmira zone. The give and go was on, but the pass broken up neatly by Carly Richardson. And Richardson banking it hard off the wall. Couldn't get the clear by Salino. Salino has some space, trying to cut through two defenders. Hemmed in from behind and finally dispossessed. The puck rolls in on Coverly. She bats it away. Bennett on the leave, has it go through her stick in the corner. Yates picks up for Elmira. Shovels it around near side. Sharp angle offering by Margie Billings, didn't find the target, and rolls back to center ice. Tanya Kenny on the dump down. Rebecca Coakley takes a look around, over skates, pressure applied by McNally. Heading to the front is Molly Vitt. McNally fended off just enough by Coakley, and Coakley gets back to her feet, but can't get the clear far side. Drive from long range, kicked out by Coverly high on the crease. Nice little clear by Huntley, at least to get it to the red line. Middlebury, though, with the momentum and tilting the rink in their favor here in the recent shifts as McNally backpedals to her own half to reset. Near side it comes Heidi Woodworth. Woodworth out of Princeton, New Jersey, a location that's been kind to Middlebury in the past. Lorna Gifford certainly comes to mind most recently. Big-time scorer who came out of that area. Far side, it's Molly Vitt. Vitt on the cycle. Nice move by Barros, but couldn't free herself for the shot. Now wheels away from Coakley and restarts down low, playing catch with Vitt. Vitt handling on the backhand, turns it lightly off the wall, right back to Barros. Barros on through behind the net, where it's handled by Farron Hart. Hart, senior, a lot of experience for this team, lobs on ahead, and there's Tori McNeil motoring on the right wing side, 1-on-3. Team is changing behind her. McNeil taking off her skates, and that will be the game's first penalty. There's been some contact, let go both ways, and finally it's the diminutive McNeil who's taken down in the corner. The call is made on Middlebury. Looks like Tanya Kenny is headed off for 2 minutes, cross-checking the call. And so we'll get a look at Elmira's power play. And that is one area that Paul Nemitz-Carlson would like to see get going through the first 4 games. Just 2 for 18 for a fairly potent offense. Go back to last year. This is a team that was 26% with the man up. DePaul, Henshaw, Kivy, Steele, Norton. And it looks like McCall starting out on the 5-on-4. Salino, McNally, Karen Levin, and Andrea Buono will do the honors of the 4-on-5 to start. Drop pass, big drive through a screen. Wright got a piece with a glove and ricocheted wide. Kivy holds the line near side. Wheeling away from the waving stick of Anna McNally. Sharp angle blast, caught the side of the net off the stick of Melanie Henshaw. Jenna McCall on the foul. Hand off to Henshaw. Again, the sharp angle offering. Henshaw gets back on her own follow. DePaul up top, Kivy. Kivy on the wind, tees it up and lets fly, but it sails wide with 1:15 to go on the power play. And Anne-Marie Salino's goal in the first 5 minutes of play is the difference thus far. She's out there menacing on the forecheck. Tie up in the far corner. McCall gets together with Levin. Elmira with possession again, looking to set up. A couple of changes. Ritzel is out there. Laxton is out there. Far side, big drive. Shoulder saved by Wright. She doesn't see it. It's by the side of the cage, and McCall gets back to it. Feeds Henshaw in the circle. Let's fly. Looking for the tip, and Wright again the pad save with 40 seconds to play on the power play. Tiffany Hart joins the festivities. Levin is dropped in the far corner. Salino, smoothly as ever, ducks underneath the defense and feeds Nakamura shorthanded. Between the circles, her wrist shot is gloved by Coverly, who wisely plays it on with her team skating up a player. And Ritzel flops on ahead to Lauren DePaul, who has Hart on her right. Fahrenheit moving in down low. Trying to angle off Randy Dumont from behind. Hart walking it behind the cage, feeding her younger sister Tiffany, who hands off in turn to Kayla Cody. Cody, ever dangerous, using that size to protect in the near circle, feeds Ritzel for the drive at the goal mouth. That might have been a pass, in fact, for Tiffany Hart on the tip. Could not connect, and Middlebury shuttles it the other way. As out of the box came Kenny. She was looking for a breakaway opportunity. Middlebury was just looking for the clear. So icing will be the call. 3:54 to go in a high-energy first period. Anne-Marie Salino's goal the difference thus far. McNeil wins the draw back for the Soaring Eagles. The puck is on edge. It flutters off the stick of Coakley. Laxton on the foul. That didn't go through. Julia Ireland picks up the carom. Springs Ashley Barrows through center. Barrows knifing to the center. She tees up her own slapper that goes just wide. Natasha Yates finesses it lightly to herself, and she'll trigger forward from right wing. Bats it on ahead. McNeil try to knock it down through center. This should be an icing call on the Soaring Eagles. And there's the whistle with 3:31 to go on the clock. Reminding you to hear from Paul Nemitz-Carlson coming up between periods 1 and 2. Mentioned a big sports weekend for Middlebury. Soccer teams hosting an NCAA regional. And the women's field hockey team in Middlebury playing against Bowdoin in the national championship game. Congratulations to the Polar Bears. 4-3 victory to win the NCAA championship. The NASCAC representing strong. A couple of teams for that conference playing for the ultimate prize. Amanda Ritzel down deep in her own zone. 3:15 to go in this first period. McCall slips a check down low. The puck pops in front. Dangerous spot for it. Knocked down for the moment and cleared by Karen Kohlauer. And here's Lauren DePaul trying to finesse her way to the front. DePaul gets to it on the backhand, and a right force to make a nice sliding pad save. They keep it a 1-0 game for the Panthers. Be a hand pass there. Elmira touches up. Middlebury touches first, and right now covers up as some gloves come up after the whistle. Molly West was involved, as was Jenna McCall. But no harm, no foul. We'll get wholesale changes for both teams. Shots 8-7 in favor of the Panthers thus far, although some of Elmira's better chances have actually been fired wide. Off the draw. Panthers with a momentary edge. Soaring Eagles with a steal. The wraparound attempt is denied off the stick of McNeil. McNeil digging after it in the corner. Puck wanders into a danger area. Salino, though, right there to restore order, and sends Anna McNally up right wing. McNally with speed, cutting to the center. McNally trying to center. Backdoor was Levin, but the net comes off its moorings. The ref doesn't see it. The net is ajar. And the puck is still in the Elmira zone. Finally, the official seeing that the net is a good 20 degrees off its angle, and puts it back on the peg as the shirtless Middlebury fans with faces painted and letters on the chest scream in favor of the home team, who have the 1-0 lead, courtesy of Anne-Marie Salino. Farron Hart, though, wins the draw back to Anastasia Steele-Norton, tipped around to Tiffany Hart. And the younger Hart will slide on ahead, hit off McNeil's skates. Levin back in control. She totes it over the line. Salino digs for the front. The drop past McNally. Wrist shot is saved. Rebound is loose, and Coverly has it, as Salino had barreled into the crease. Just over 2 to play in the first period. You'll hear from both head coaches today. You'll hear from Kara McGurry and Anne-Marie Salino tomorrow. Fluttering shot off the stick of Heidi Woodworth. Fought off by Coverly. Down low, Randy Dumont. Dumont trying to go to the front. That was denied neatly by Yates. Yates has done a nice job defensively here in the first period, and does a nice job there to wing it down. Melanie Henshaw will get the first touch underneath Tanya Kenny. Henshaw promptly double teamed. Catherine Shears comes over to even the odds. And through center come the Panthers as Molly Vitt will send it deep. Yates behind her own net. Leaves to the corner where Dumont will get the first touch to it for the Panthers. Taken back though by Cody. Cody playing down low to support her defense. Goes up the center of the ice, always a dangerous proposition. Got the puck out of the zone, though, and offside of the call as Kenny tried to move back in. Reminder, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to shift away from the Division III scene, kind of open with our first 5 games in D3 territory. Go back to D1, St. Lawrence and Dartmouth, Friday, November 23rd at 7 p.m. Our good friend Tiffany Haig will stop by. Actually, she's going to come down from Canada, and Tiffany's going to have an increased role in the program this year because we're going to cover some of her games for the first time. Well, at least some of her games in a post-grad life. As down low, Lauren DePaul knocks home a beautiful centering pass that was right on the money, and DePaul, not big in stature, just 5'3", but had plenty on the stick to push it by right, and Elmira strikes quickly off the draw to tie the game at 1. So that service had to be in one spot. There was a defender right behind DePaul. Lonnie Wright was also in the vicinity, and the service was right on the money. DePaul able to reach out and just flick the pass over the leg of Wright and tie the game at 1 apiece. Big goal for the Soaring Eagles. 1:03 on the clock. Coaches always talk about last 2 minutes, first 2 minutes of periods, and right there, potential momentum swing. You can see Elmira's bench energized by the equalizer. Middlebury, though, trying to counterattack in the final 45 seconds. Jamie Kivy heading off the rush of Jessica Bennett. Bennett all over Kivy, forces the turnover. The centering pass from Levin behind Nakamura. Nakamura down low. Double team. Carly Richardson works it free. Couldn't clear the zone. Nora Bergman gets a touch to it. And it's forked out of the zone and down. It's not going to go far enough for an icing. Elmira with a quick last change. 18 seconds on the clock. Middlebury will with possession. Over the boards comes Salino. Salino was loose, but Laxton spied the passing lane and picked it off. Lindsay Laxton cutting to the left wing side. She only has 8 seconds to work with. Centers it to the front. There was a player back door, but the pass went behind. Tiffany Hart throwing it toward goal. That sails wide, and the first period is going to end with a flurry. But Middlebury and Elmira stayed deadlocked at 1 apiece after 1 period of play. So it was Salino for the Panthers early, and it was Lauren DePaul for the Soaring Eagles late. And after 1 period of play, it is number 2 Middlebury 1 and a number 5 Elmira 1. And as promised, on the other side of this commercial break, you will hear from Elmira head coach Paul Nemitz-Carlson. You're watching the USCHO Game of the Week. We'll be back in just a moment. Bottrell from the sharp angle, fires and she scores! Jennifer Bottrell from along the goal line. Quick one-timer, score! Jada Hefford, her second of the night. Exquisite finishing touch. Apps on a breakaway. Apps moving in. Wrist shot, she scored! Jillian Apps, the breakaway speed and finishing ability.
My guest is Elmira head coach Paul Nemitz-Carlson. Soaring Eagles off to a 4-0 start, part of the Middlebury tournament this weekend. First up, the Panthers in the semifinal round on Saturday. And coach, every year is a new year. You've had a couple of weeks of preseason, a couple of weeks of game action. You've had some great teams at your disposal. How does this one stack up? How is it maybe different than some of the ones you've had in the past?
You know, I think, this team stacks up pretty well with almost all of those teams. We have a tradition of success. We have a real culture that we've created where everyone who comes in who's new expects to be as successful as the group that has come before and wants to be a part of the tradition. This group might be as talented. Last year we had 18 of our 25 were freshmen and sophomores, and so we were young, and played a lot on emotion and played a lot on pure talent. This year we've been able to take the next step. I think it's been, you always want to build right from where you were at the end of the year, but we are moving forward, having accomplished a lot of things last year and sort of mastered a lot of things, and so we can now improve a number of the things that we do systems-wise. Things kind of fall into place a little bit easier. Last year we were teaching 10 new people everything, and then this year we are trying to adapt and adjust, and it gives us a lot more freedom when we prepare for certain opponents, and really sort of gives us a chance to build our identity. We anticipate this will be a pretty good year, building off of last year.
You anticipated part of my next question, which is the continuity. There are only 2 new faces here. There's a lot of players who you're used to. I know you went through this something similar, before when you kind of first came in and kind of get a feel for the program, and then kind of coached up some players over a couple of seasons. How much quicker is the development process for a team like this versus those teams that have the 9 and 10 freshmen?
You know what? Each one presents a unique challenge. I've always said, having watched our team do it the first 2 years, having watched Plattsburgh do it in the last couple of years, having watched the Middlebury group that graduated last year, never underestimate the value of 9 or 10 freshmen who are very talented, who don't know this better, who sort of look past all the preconceived notions and look past all the things that, the history that they've developed. That group is always pretty talented, and they're always just looking to get better every day. The veteran team, you rely a little bit more on expectation. You know what you're going to get day in and day out. And the continuity, I think, is always great because in big games who's going to step up. Who you can look to. Who you can expect things from. And so while you're not guessing on a daily basis, you also have what you have. And so you don't get as many surprises as when you have a new team with a lot of talent.
Tell me a little bit about the leadership structure of this team. And Kara McGurry, rare that a goaltender has the C, but she's had it for 2 seasons, and now you've kind of put some help around her. Obviously, Kayla Cody's been a great scorer for a couple of years. Farron Hart's a senior as well, and Jenna McCall, kind of the precocious one as a sophomore. Tell me a little bit about the 4 of them and how they are as sort of the official leaders for the squad.
Yeah, each leader in our program is unique. Each reaches out to a specific group of players on our team. Each has a different talent. Kara is articulate. She's bright. She's intelligent. She's able to express herself. And has a pretty quiet leadership quality around her. She's a big thinker, a big idea person, and is able to articulate those to the group. Farron is one who has been here for a number of years. All 2 of her sisters have played here. One being younger, and one having won 2 national championships. So she is the one who has the big vision about what Elmira is all about and what our program is all about. And doesn't speak as much, but when she speaks, she has a passion for our program and sort of its success and her teammates, and so she always has a really pointed things to say when she speaks. Kayla obviously earns a lot of her credentials sort of with her ability, but Kayla's effort is to be the best player on our team every day on the ice. And really leads by example. This is what's expected of me. The number of times in the last 2 years when we've needed a goal, and she went out there and said, "Okay, I'm going to go score it." Is a great way to push us. And and Jenna is just energy, and she's young, and most of these people have been in leadership roles before they got here. I would say that Kara and Kayla and Farron and Jenna have all aspired to be the leaders in the program and wanted that responsibility. And when you want that responsibility, you tend to respond well when given the opportunity.
Kara is also part of another sort of leadership role in the sense that she is one of 2 goaltenders. You have run the same rotation almost right down the middle for 3 seasons between her and Allison Coverly. They're both upperclassmen now. Tell me a little bit about how that rotation looks here in year 3.
We have a unique situation. We have 2 goaltenders who are able to inspire confidence in their teammates, who are able to push each other, who can win any game at any time. Which I don't know if we've always had that. We used to have Edith Racine who played almost every big game possible and won championship after championship. And so whenever there was a game, you knew who was going to step up. But now we have two goalies who both have done real well. We've had 2 years in a row where we tried to alternate them, and then whoever rises to the top and whoever inspires the team and whoever has the confidence of the team gets the gets the run in the playoffs. Last year it was Allie. The year before it was Kara. And they're right back at it. They push each other in practice. They make us better. One of them said the other day in practice, it may be tough to score with your moves on our goaltenders, but against other teams, those are great moves. Don't abandon them just because they can't score on us, which I thought was pretty funny. But they both bring their own strengths to the table. One is a little bit more technical. One is a little bit more athletic and relies on quickness and doing anything she possibly can to make the save. But they both give us a chance to win, and I foresee us giving them both opportunities to prove themselves and earn the trust of the team. I would imagine that both of them will play this weekend as well. We've been pretty consistent with that because we believe a lot in opportunity, and this is an opportunity to give them both a chance to prove that they're among the two better goalies in the nation.
When you have a team like you had last year with so many underclassmen, it means that there's a lot of development going on and a lot of players that are maturing at different paces. So when you come back this year and a lot of them are a year older and a year wiser, tell me a little bit about a few of them who maybe have jumped out at you, maybe even surprised you with how strong they've come back and maybe look like they're poised for a breakout kind of season.
Yeah, it's interesting. Everybody matures at a different rate. Some are ready to go their first week of the year. Some take a year and emerge as sophomores, and some even as juniors. Erica Godwin, number 15 on our team, didn't play as much her first 2 years in a real prominent role. Worked real hard this summer and has really stepped up. She'll be penalty killing on our team now. Sort of emerged as a penalty killer, as a consistent threat on her line. Works real hard, does exactly what we ask. Lauren DePaul is a heck of an offensive talent, and I think last year achieved and played well in big games, but really is ready to make that next step. She's gotten to the point where she can put it all together. And then Karen Kohlhauer, who is a sophomore this year, had a year last year where she put herself in a position where she was successful, she was important, she was part of our successful penalty kill. She played on a regular line that was very good, but she is one who has come back after spending the summer understanding what it takes, ready to contribute and really put things together in a role that she aspires to be in. It's been really neat to kind of see some of them step up and mature and grow once given the opportunity to sort of take on new roles, even though we have a lot of familiar faces.
We've had a couple of games to get a feel for what kind of team you have in your hands, and now you head to one of the better events really in every Division III season, especially early on. 3 of the top 5 teams will be in attendance at the Middlebury tournament this weekend. Williams there as well. You get a look at the Panthers in the semifinals on Saturday, potentially a matchup maybe with your old friends, the Plattsburgh Cardinals, on Sunday if things go the right way. Tell me a little bit about playing in this event and sort of how you try to prepare your team for this weekend.
Well, this event is one of the premier events that in Division III college hockey. It's an event that has all 3 of the teams who have won Division III national championships. We have won 2. Plattsburgh has won last year, and Middlebury has won the 3 in the middle. So the collection of quality teams and quality programs with a long history of successes is unrivaled. We are really approaching this as an opportunity to show, hey, this is where we are, this is what we've worked hard for. But, as an opportunity to say, hey, we're ready to play against the best teams. We always try every year to schedule the best teams outside of our conference to really sort of put ourselves in a position where we've met all the challenges, we've faced all the challenges that we may face in our quest to be as good as we can be and compete for championships. And I think this is the exact opportunity that we're looking for, especially early in the season, especially knowing that 2 years prior to this, the first game of the tournament has been a repeat of the national championship game from the year before. We know it's going to be good hockey. We're really pushing it as an opportunity to show what we can do and really an opportunity to grow and learn from this is where we are and this is where we want to be. It definitely is a tournament that is where we want to be, and it'll be a great benchmark to see where we are at this point as we go forward to build as a team.
thoughts of Elmira head coach Paul Nemitz-Carlson, his team in pretty good position. And you mentioned you kind of might have heard somewhere in there him talking about Lauren DePaul, ready for a breakout season. Well, she started off making her coach look good by scoring a goal late in that period. Beautiful goal. That setup finally got the number on it. It was Jenna McCall who was along the far side wall and really put that pass in the one lane it could be sent to allow DePaul to get a deflection. It really wasn't much of a shot, but all she had to do was make sure her stick made contact with the puck, and she was able to knock it past Lonnie Wright with 1:03 to go in the period. That was the equalizer that answered Anne-Marie Salino's beautiful backhand goal early on. Dumont was the player who made the pass that went in front to Salino off a little bit of a broken play. No defenders around Middlebury's top offensive threat, and she calmly went forehand to backhand and roofed it over the shoulder of Allison Coverly. So that's where we stand. 1-1 the score. You can see on the scoreboard in front of you that Middlebury has a modest shots on goal advantage of 10-8. Getting back to a point I was making earlier, we've got St. Lawrence Dartmouth on Friday at 7, and Harvard Dartmouth Tuesday, November 27th, a rare midweek game for us, also at 7 p.m. And then things get very interesting. December 1st, we're in Minnesota, and we'll show you some of the best players in the world, what they do when they're not playing for their respective countries, as the Calgary Overlook Extreme, led by Haley Wickenheiser, will come down to Minneapolis and play the Minnesota Whitecaps, led by Natalie Darwitz. As a shot right from long range by Kivy was tipped just wide. Kivy back on it, had plenty of room to step into one, and that one was blocked as well. And a week after the Whitecaps Oval game, we'll get a look at some CWHL play. As here's a shot in on right, who pads it aside. Kayla Cody motoring after it far side. So CWHL, again, some of the best players in the world who play there after their college days are done. Some of the best young talent in the world plays there before they go to college. So those games will start on December 8th as Anne-Marie Salino trying to drive one through the defense. That did not go through. December 8th, 6 p.m. The Brampton Thunder, who among others will have Jillian Apps, Jana Hefford, Kathleen Kopp, Molly Engstrom. Centering pass in front. Opposite the Burlington Barracudas, led by former All-American goaltender Tanya Pinelli and Canadian Olympic defenseman Becky Keller. Minute gone by here in the Panther Cardinal Classic semifinal number 2. Middlebury 1, Elmira 1. Anna McNally forcing the turnover. There's a player available. Backdoor. Nice pass. One-timer, and Coverly gets across to make the save. Molly Vitt was the player who made herself available. McNally spied her, laid it across. A good service. And Vitt put a charge into one from about 10 feet. But Coverly showing the agility. Coverly's not a big goaltender. In fact, neither McGurry or Coverly are that big. They're both 5'3". But Coverly, good on her skates, was able to get across and shut down the one-timer and keep this a 1-1 hockey game. Molly Vitt right back plying her trade in the offensive zone, but the errant pass to the point sails all the way down, and Lonnie Wright will have to wander away from her crease to play it aside for her defender. Aggressive two-man forecheck sent as DePaul is the first player in. Ashley Barros, dangerous pass back to her defense, and Jenna McCall forcing the turnover. Flips it off the side of the net, and as the puck is trapped, we'll get the whistle. And a stoppage for a face-off in the zone. Both teams again, substitutions. Looks like they will be wholesale as Elmira calls its forward line off, and Carly Richardson will come on to take the draw. Opposite the other number 22, Margaret McDonald. Nakamura able to hack it out to neutral ice. Rebecca Coakley forks it back in. Had a couple teammates trapped off sides for the moment. Now the puck flutters on to center. Only the one penalty thus far, and it went the way of the Panthers. And for Elmira, it's got to be a big piece of the game plan year in, year out. I don't care how old, how young Middlebury is. You know they bring a good power play to the table. And we might actually have our first power play for Middlebury here as Coverly covers the puck up. A little bit of interference along the blue line. The call is made for holding. So we will see Middlebury's power play, which every year, combination of good talent and good systems breeds good results. Last year, 23%. They've had a couple of years where they've tested 30% over the course of an entire season. And Salino, who has the goal for the Panthers, gets it started 5-on-4 here. Molly Vitt starting the cycle, caught the ref in the skates. Salino right back to take possession. double team, though, and Tori McNeil, nice tenacity from her on the penalty kill to force it out of the zone. Near side, the touch pass broken up by McNeil. Now she can skate away, use that speed to kill off some time, but her pass in turn is taken away. And on right wing, moving in, Randy Dumont. So far, Middlebury somewhat disorganized on their power play, settling it down. Karen Levin, leaving it across to Salino. Salino, the saucer pass, but right onto the stick, and maybe a shorthanded chance for Karen Kohlauer. And it's from long range. She blasted wide. Lamar Kohlauer had actually already put in a 40-second penalty killing shift, so she was headed off to the bench anyway. And Levin saucers on ahead, trying to get it to Molly Vitt. Barros will catch up in the offensive zone, now handing off to Vitt with 1:08 to go on the man advantage. Down low, Anastasia Steele-Norton working it up to the point. Karen Levin swoops over to help out. Holds the line for the moment. Pass, though, broken up by Erica Godwin, and Godwin goes to the air for the clearance. Lonnie Wright leaves it in the far corner. Wright playing it up herself. Has the outlet in Tanya Kenny. Good transition here by Middlebury, and Nakamura in stride over the line. Nakamura for a wrist shot, and a stick from the defenseman Huntley. From the defender, at least. Actually, Steele-Norton, not Huntley. 21, not 23, who blocked that one away. And it's Tiffany Hart triggering forward for Elmira. Nice lay ahead. Here comes Lauren DePaul again, looking for goal number 2 on the backhand. And a right pads it away as Kenny was bothering DePaul from behind. Turning shot by Jenna McCall. Right easily guides that aside. That's one thing we've seen from all 4 teams in this event is quality goaltending. Denise McCulloch is certainly a veteran for Williams. Lonnie Wright now in her second year as a starter for Middlebury. Coverly, as we mentioned, with a 1-1A system at Elmira, but her third season doing that. And Danielle Beatty, our first look at her in the wake of Bree Doyle's great career. And Beatty looked very sharp in limited action, infrequent shots. And as we mentioned, there's a skill to that as well. It made a couple of big stops, especially in the first period when her team was slow to get going. 1-1 the score here. We're back to 5 aside as Middlebury got very little done on their power play. Only 1 setup and no shots taken from that setup. So both teams 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Both teams with a goal on the board. Salino for the Panthers and DePaul for the Soaring Eagles. Puck out of play here. And we'll get the stoppage. Division 1 action earlier today. A little bit of an upset, although Rick Seeley's Clarkson Golden Knights are in anything but an upstart program at this point. But Clarkson, a 3-point weekend against the vaunted Mercyhurst Lakers. 2-2 tie yesterday. The Golden Knights coming up with a 3-2 victory today against the nation's number 2 or number 3 ranked team, depending on which poll you subscribe to at present. Continuing a season which is following the pattern very similar to what we've seen from Division I college football. A lot of unpredictability, and that's a great thing for the sport. Kayla Cody ladles a pass neatly onto Catherine Shears in stride. Shears with a drive, a right to pad save, leaves it behind the net, where it's taken by Molly West. Tiffany Hart probing on the forecheck. Couldn't get it free. Middlebury got the clear. This player's trapped off sides as it's put back in. And stepping forward, Margaret McDonald on the backhand. McDonald had not quite gained the red line. And somewhat generous icing calls. There was an Elmira skater right along the end line there, but the draw will come back by Lonnie Wright. 5:21 gone in the second period, still tied at 1 apiece. Lauren DePaul and Jenna McCall. That was the duo that hooked up for the Elmira goal late in the period. DePaul wins the faceoff here to Amanda Ritzel. And Ritzel on the backhand feeds Karen Kohlauer down deep. Kohlauer against Kenny. Rolling puck to the circle, taken by Anne-Marie Salino, and she'll march forward on right wing. Salino accelerating through center. Has McNally with her. Salino lays it across. McNally for the redirect. They score! Oh, what a rush is Salino to McNally, and McNally puts it home. Middlebury up 2-1. You just sense when Anne-Marie Salino gets the puck on her stick and she has a room to get up to speed, good things are going to happen for the Panthers, and just has a different gear and can make plays with the puck. She did it by scoring the first goal, showing the soft hands in there. Under some duress, laid a nice pass into McNally, and Anna McNally, playing her first collegiate game, 5'3" freshman from St. Paul, Minnesota, picks up the first goal of her career. And playing with Anne-Marie Salino won't be the last. So McNally stakes Middlebury to its second advantage. And here they come again, McNally and Salino. McNally turns the corner, walks in for the wrist shot, and sails it just wide. You'll hear Bill Manigo talk about his freshman class. McNally's name came up a couple of times. She fires again. Coverly looked behind her, but made the save. And so McNally, who's had a precocious start to her career, continuing to press her offense here. as Elmira desperate for the clear, and they'll get it as Lindsey Laxton tries to move through center. Bottled up for the moment. Organized finally by Carly Richardson. Richardson kicking at it along the blue line. Stood up by Randy Dumont. Richardson hacks it in on Lanny Wright, and Wright tips it aside to Heidi Woodworth. So Salino, now that she's a captain, now that she's a junior, they need her to produce, especially as this young team grows up, and already a goal and a primary assist leading the rush, as Middlebury has a 2-1 advantage. Over the line comes Molly Vitt now. Vitt, wrist shot right into the chest protector of Coverly, and she cradles it for the draw on Middlebury's 15th shot of the proceedings here at Kenyon Arena. As we mentioned, just a beautiful facility. A lot of history in this building, a lot of banners, a lot of All-American plaques. It was fun to just kind of walk around the concourse and look at all the great players that have come this way. A couple of whom have been on our program before. One of whom was going to come back today, but if Sylvia Ryan, if you're watching, certainly hope that your dog is feeling better. Apparently a little bit of emergency medical attention needed for the canine. So Sylvia not able to make the trip back to Middlebury. A wrist shot from long range. Drops to a Middlebury stick. Where's the puck? It's lost in a jersey for the moment. Finally drops in the circle. Bodies go down. Rolls in on Coverly, and she cover up. And Sylvia Ryan, whose married name is Gappa, still coaches at the Berkshire School. Coached Kayla Cody before she came over to Elmira. And Cody's out there now to take the defensive zone draw against Erica Nakamura. 2-1 the score in favor of the Panthers. Nakamura has space, wrists it up high. Nice shoulder save, Coverly. Rolling puck in the high slot. Gathered and cleared out of harm's way by Melanie Henshaw. Henshaw dispossessed along the red line. As Julia Ireland on the left wing side moving it in. Kivy far side runs into a pair of white shirts. A third white shirt comes over to Hover. Elmira has a second defender there. It's Cody. Cody's done a lot of work, even though she's a winger who plays some center. Cody spent a lot of time in the defensive zone helping out. Hard-working two-way player for Paul Nemitz-Carlson. Obviously a great scorer, coming up on 100 points for her career and early in her junior season. So Blanchard crossed that mark earlier this year in her junior campaign. As here's Henshaw on right wing. Nice one-on-one defense by Margaret McDonald. That's what McDonald does. You're not going to see a lot of stats out of Margaret McDonald, but as a senior captain, her responsibility is her half of the ice. And Middlebury guilty of icing here. And so we'll bring the draw back down by Lonnie Wright. The DePaul-McCall combination is out there. Looks like Dumont's going to take the draw for the Panthers. Dumont gets the best of DePaul on this occasion as Tanya Kenny winds it around near side. Jenna McCall wheeling in the corner. Aggressive defense by Kenny. Salino digs it free. Salino one-handing it forward through heavy traffic. Couldn't get out of the zone. Work to the blue line. Stolen, though, by DePaul. Poke checked away. Here's Salino on left wing, feeding Heidi Woodworth through center. Woodworth between the circles. A wrist shot. Caught Tiffany Hart in the legs. Did not go through. Down low, Anna McNally. McNally and Salino, the duo in this 2-3 setup. Long drive. Rolls in on Coverly. A little rebound is left. It's still loose. Salino. Score! Anne-Marie Salino able to dig a loose puck free, and she's got two and a helper. Middlebury up 3-1. It's a bad break for Coverly. She had an opportunity to cover it. She thought she did have it covered. Was out of position, kind of spinning around amidst the traffic, but Salino spied that the puck was still free. And so as Elmira's defense kind of hovered around their goaltender, Salino kind of just plucked it out of the pile and shoveled it home. There was a defender who did become aware late that the play was still going on, but Salino able to slam it past. And so Anne-Marie Salino, 2 goals and an assist, leading by example in a big-time way here in the season opener as Middlebury a 3-1 advantage, but back come the Soaring Eagles as Farron Hart fires away and Wright forced to make a save. Hart turning again, Wright with another pad stop. Erica Godwin down low trying to protect on the backhand. Tori McNeil legging after it in the near corner. McNeil Godwin in front. Hart was available, but the stick was lifted at the last possible moment. And Middlebury a chance for a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Molly Vitt through center leading the charge. Vitt with a drive. They caught a defender in the skates and did not go through. Vitt catches up down low, and she'll start from there. Karen Levin trying to go backdoor. Pass was telegraphed. Barron Hart still out there. Long shift for her. I think she needs a change. She's going to bank it off the wall, but she didn't quite make the red line, so icing is going to be the call here. And so Anne-Marie Solino mentioned 47 points as a freshman and 34 as a sophomore, and has gotten it started early here in her junior season to the tune of 2 goals and a primary assist, and the game is just about half over. Nakamura works her way off the wall, fans on the wrist shot, rolls into the circle. Only Elmira defenders there, and Catherine Shears deftly flicks it on to Melanie Henshaw, who blasts away from long range. Henshaw caught that one cleanly, and Wright had to fight it off. That one probably was going high, but had to make sure. Over the line, here's Cody. Cody, nifty moves on the backhand, and Wright makes the pad save. Little pushing and shoving as Wright puts the trapper up against the charging Jamie Huntley. And we'll get the stoppage just over the midway point of the game, and Anne-Marie Solino has been the show thus far. 2 goals and an assist in this one. Off the draw, it's Lindsay Laxton. Laxton out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. A Little Caesars product that's produced, like several programs in that area, a lot of good college hockey players. Jamie Huntley, a wrist shot through traffic. Good idea, using the defenseman as a screen. And Wright with the adjustment for the save. Mentioned Laxton from Michigan. So many excellent players from Michigan. You think back to certainly Angela Ruggiero, who's sort of from a lot of places, but Park, California, calls Michigan home right now. Certainly probably the most prominent, but a number of top players come out of Michigan every year. And we patiently wait for the day when Michigan and Michigan State decide that it's fit to launch a women's hockey program. There's a common thread to both of those. If you're familiar with the game, you can probably figure out what most people think is the primary reason why that hasn't happened yet. So we calmly wait for them to come around and join the 21st century. Really the 20th century, quite frankly. Meanwhile, though, there is some good hockey going on in Michigan at the college level. Wayne State, how about Mel Bowl, Sam Point, and Lindsay DiPietro? Making a run at some of the big lines in history. Nobody knows about those 3 yet, but there's some huge numbers being put up by that trio for Jim Fetter's program. And Anna McNally wants more numbers here. Nice move by McNally, but could not get it to the forehand for the finish. So McNally and Solino, as here's Karen Levin in support. Bill Manigo may have struck gold early with Solino and McNally. They have been everywhere offensively in this 2-3 system. But here's a chance for Kohlauer that's foiled by an offsides call. That was close, but looked like McCall might have been in a little bit too soon. To go back to the Wayne State line, Mel Bowl, I don't know what she did today, but 19 goals in 11 games to start the season. Our good friend Nikki Corriero holds the college record with 59 goals in one season, that back in 2005. But 19 goals in 11, that's a good season for a lot of people. As here's Tori McNeil over the line. McNeil with a drive, and Wright stands up out of the crouch in the 5'8 frame, easily catches it. Holds on for the draw. Middlebury with 20 shots, Elmira with 15, so both teams getting their looks, and there have been a number of shots that have been blocked or sent wide as well. So the attempts are definitely there on both sides, but Solino and McNally have been the difference offensively. Have yet to hear from Kayla Cody on the other side. Barros gets the clearance, the rolling puck through center. Ritzel tracking it, taking a look around her. Julia Ireland is one stride behind as Ritzel leaves for Jamie Kivy. Kivy, nice bank pass in stride to Farron Hart. Hart trying to lead Godwin through center, a bit too far for her, and Karen Levin will get the first touch to it with Godwin circling behind her. Levin on the quick turnabout, trying to spring Barrows forward. That was broken up. Elmira is on side, but they can't quite get the momentum going forward as McNeil tries to reset. Knifes between 2 Middlebury sticks, walks into the high slot. On the backhand, laying it across to Hart. Hart trying to drag it through a defender. Disrupted in the process. McNeil provides support. Again, tries to get it into the goal mouth. That's denied. And it's taken back by Julia Ireland. Ireland from long range. Gained the red line as she shoveled in cross ice, and Middlebury goes for a change. Nakamura, fleet-footed as ever, glides in on the forecheck against Steele Norton. Shears digs it free. Henshaw picks up along her own blue line. Darts over to the left wing side, 1-on-3. Middlebury has strong numbers back. Got a long distance shot away. Landing right pads aside. That's the one thing with the Elmira shot totals. They are getting shots, but they are not getting in tight as much. A lot of shots from distance, and Wright's going to be able to stop most of those. Whereas Salino, talk about her 2 goals, they were both right on the crease, and her setup to McNally was as well. Near side collision. Tiffany Hart gets together and wins the puck free. Shears is in front. The pass off the side of the net. Tiffany Hart trying to work it back in front. That was denied as well. And Margaret McDonald foiled on a clearance by Melanie Henshaw. Henshaw and Shears against McDonald and Kristen Wilson. Dug free by Nakamura. Nakamura pokes it out of the zone. Tiffany Hart launches it right back in as she heads off on a change. Margie Billings behind her own net. Billings, the 5'11 sophomore out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. Got it to the red line where it's taken back by Jamie Kibbe. Kibbe on left wing has speed, wrists it in on right. This time she did leave a rebound, and Huntley was right in the vicinity as Wright covered up with 6:16 to play in the second. And Anne-Marie Salino's 2 goals and a setup of Anna McNally pacing the attack thus far for the Panthers. Salino back out there. So in this 2-3, we've got the McNally-Salino combination up front. Looks like Dumont, Kenny, and Woodworth manning the back line. Centering pass, Dumont with the steal. And there goes Salino on left wing, threading to McNally at center. Rolled off her skates. Huntley counterattacking on right wing. Was bothered and looked to have been interfered with a bit from behind. But again, the official has been a little bit lax in this game. Both teams only with the 1 power play despite some physical play. And we play it on in the corner. Middlebury putting 2 bodies against Huntley. Huntley's wrestled down hard, and she looks to be shaken up. As Elmira tries to hold the zone for a drive by Kibbe that goes wide. Huntley back to her feet. Maybe just had the wind knocked out of her briefly as she's back in the play. Still skating a little bit slowly as Salino carries over the line. Salino feeding McNally. Nice pass. McNally between the defense. McNally goes over the crossbar as those two again continue to add to their personal highlight reel in this season opener. They share one thing in common, which is they have very good hands and they can make plays at or close to top speed, and that's a huge luxury as an offensive player. And you've seen it on several occasions. Counterattacking a wrist shot, blockered away by Wright. McNally's had a little bit of trouble on the finishing touch. Does have the 1 goal. A couple others shooting high, not missing the corners a bit. Maybe a little bit extra energy in her collegiate debut, but you can see the ability. And a nice compliment, too, to the skills that Salino brings to the table. They have combined for all 3 Middlebury goals here late in the second period. Scrum along the near side wall of the Elmira zone. Dug free by Jenna McCall. McCall and DePaul. They have been the combination most notable for Elmira. And here's DePaul trying to turn the corner. Nice poke check by Buono to dispossess. DePaul gets a cycle away to Karen Kohlhauer far side. Kohlhauer spinning. And we've got a stoppage and we've got a penalty here. And the call is going to be made for interference. So the door will open for the Panthers. And so Elmira will get a chance on a power play. And down 3-1 as it looks like Karen Levin is the guilty party for a second time. Or excuse me, not for the second time. Second time for the Panthers, not for her. Elmira down 2 goals. They struck late in the first. An opportune time for them to really get right back in it here in the second as Cody wins the draw. And Elmira is set up. Laxton with a drive. Deflection off the pipe as Farron Hart, a deft touch in front, but rang it off the bar. Ritzel holding the Laxton. Again, they set up the drive. Laxton again looking for the tip, this time from Tiffany Hart. And it went wide, and Middlebury gets the clear. So close. The design was right. The swing was the right idea. Laxton caught it cleanly. And Hart in traffic used that long reach to get the tip. It beat right clean, but rang off the pipe. And now a long-distance offering by Farron Hart is covered up by Wright, so we'll get a draw by the Middlebury netminder. 1:29 to go on the Levin minor. Still 3-1 Panthers. Second power play unit out there. DePaul to steal Norton. Middlebury a little bit more aggressive here on the PK. Elmira puts 2 on the puck, but Nakamura steals it and rockets it cross ice all the way down. USCHO game of the week. Panther Cardinal Classic here in Middlebury, Vermont on a beautiful, crisp fall day in Middlebury, Vermont. Jenna McCall on right wing, monitored stride for stride by Randy Dumont. McCall, far side, Henshaw. Henshaw with a drive up high. And it looked like McCall was dumped in the crease. She wanted a call, didn't get it. 49 seconds to go on the Levin minor. Elmira looking better on the second power play, even though they are just 2 for 19 on the young season. And Middlebury gets the clearance as Kivy resets from along the red line. DePaul over the line, losing on the poke check, got it into the zone, whiffed on her dump down attempt, and Nakamura another clear. It's been a big PK for Erica Nakamura. Junior forward now out of Boston, Massachusetts, played at Nobles in the prep system. Jessica Bennett content to just kill off final seconds of this power play, but now a turnover as Hart walks it to the front. Cody was down there but couldn't get a stick to it. Coverly banging her stick on the ice, letting her team know the power play is over. Laxton, though, charging in from the point position. Works her way behind the net, centers it in front. Hart was available, but it squirted through her legs. And Bennett is away to center ice for Middlebury. We're back to 5-a-side. There's going to be a penalty here. Ooh, that's a fairly light call given what we've seen. High sticking is going to be the official word, but more of a bump administered by Laxton against Bennett. And so Lindsay Laxton to the box, and Middlebury will get its second power play up 3-1. 2 minutes to go in this period. So this is a little bit of a precarious position, especially for Elmira. Down 2, do not want to go down a trifecta heading to the dressing room after 40 minutes. And for Middlebury, a big opportunity for them to really put some distance between themselves and the nation's number 5 ranked team here in the second semifinal of this tournament. Dumont is manning the crease. Salino along the point. Couldn't hold. And now maybe shorthanded offense. 2-on-1 the other way. Karen Kohlhauer and Tori McNeil. Kohlhauer trying to go in front. Went off the defender's skates as Middlebury had recovered a little bit. And now it's McNally sending Karen Levin out of her own zone. That's stolen. Kohlhauer over skating. Has help from McNeil. It's 2-on-2. McNeil floats it to the front. Blocked away by Levin, and a very disorganized start for this Middlebury power play thus far. Still have a minute 25 to work with and 90 seconds to go in the period as Levin cruises through center. Levin sweeping down low. Dumont is in front. Levin still with possession, goal line extended near side, finding Salino along the point. Salino rubbed out against the wall. Dumont down low. The handoff is to Salino. Salino, the bank pass behind the cage. Salino still with it, walking it out in front. Salino curling into the circle, danger area, throwing it into heavy traffic. Pinball off a couple of legs and wide. Nakamura on the cycle in the final minute of this second period. 50 seconds to go on the Panther power play. Dumont spun around by Lauren DePaul, Tiffany Hart, and Randy Dumont over there as well. Tanya Kenny joins the party, feeding Nakamura. Nakamura curling off the board, shoots it toward Coverly, fought it off with Dumont providing the screen. And it's Ritzel on a knife between the forecheck, couldn't get by Nakamura. Nakamura trying to drag her way through a defender. There's going to be a call here. So Erica Nakamura trying to go to the dangle move. Induces an interference minor against Amanda Ritzel, and now things becoming even more dire for the Soaring Eagles. 5-on-3 for Middlebury for 24 seconds with a draw in the offensive zone, and the Panthers already up by a count of 3-1. Molly West, Jenna McCall, crucial draw. If Elmira can win and clear, that might just about do it for the 5-on-3. But Levin seals it off on the near post. The swing is to Salino. Backdoor, wrister by McNally, and Coverly shuts it down with the right leg. Beautiful Z pass formation, but Coverly up to the challenge. Still 5-on-3 for 8 seconds. Here's Levin with a screen, swinging cross ice. Big drive, rolls in on Coverly, and she gets the cover as Dumont got the gloves up high with Kivy after the whistle. 3 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Just 10 ticks on this first period clock. We'll hear from Bill Manigo between periods 2 and 3 with his team up 3-1 and looking for a quick strike here with an offensive zone draw and 10 seconds to work with. And it looks like Dumont was a little bit quick off the draw there, so she'll be chased from the circle, and Levin will take it against Catherine Shears. Middlebury does win it. There's Salino with a drive that ricocheted off of 3 sprawling Elmira defenders. 2 seconds on the clock. McNally trying to center. That didn't go through, and the whistle sounds. And so Anne-Marie Salino and Anna McNally have combined for all 3 goals for Middlebury. And the Panthers log the only 2 tallies of that middle frame, and after 2 periods of play, it is number 2 ranked Middlebury 3 and number 5 Elmira 1. We'll step aside for a commercial break. On the other side of that break, you will hear from Middlebury head coach Bill Manigo. You're watching the USCHO Game of the Week. We'll be back in just a few moments.
You got a gift, son. With that gift comes a lot of responsibility. That's why we're gonna pull you out of school. We're gonna get you a big-time agent. We're gonna hold out for the biggest pro sports contract possible.
Okay, Pop.
We're gonna make heaps of cash.
The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschobroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschobroadcast@yahoo.com.
Bottrell from the sharp angle, fires and she scores! Jennifer Bottrell from along the goal line. Quick one-timer, score! Jada Hefford, her second of the night. Exquisite finishing touch. Apps on a breakaway. Apps moving in. Wrist shot, she scored! Jillian Apps, the breakaway speed and finishing ability.
My guest is Middlebury head coach Bill Manigo on the eve of another hockey season. And, Coach, a little bit of a different tone maybe this year than the last couple, just because for the first time in 4 seasons, Middlebury is not the defending national champion. I know you want to win every game every year, but has that change had any sort of impact in how this team is preparing for this season?
No, I think we're preparing just the way we normally do, and it's go out to practice, to try to get better at practice and take one day at a time and start now, start on the journey and see where we end up at the end. And it's honestly, that's the way we've prepared the last 4 years. And, the only difference is that the normal cast of characters that have been there the last 4 years have changed. And so we've got a lot of young players and a lot of new people with different roles, and so it's exciting in a lot of ways to see the growth, and it'll be very exciting at the end of the year to see how far we can develop.
Anticipated a bit of my next question, which was that senior class, such a big contributor both on and off the ice, and had so much experience and so much success. What's the toughest thing to compensate for not having them around now?
Well, you read some of the quotes and the comments about they've lost these scorers and they've lost, 6 of their top 10 scorers, whatever. And it's, that's obviously very, very important. But what you miss is the leadership that they bring, not only on the ice but in the locker room, and that those kids never got rattled. And for 4 years, they persevered. They played in big games. They handled it, and so now I think the other players in the locker room looking at them from that standpoint, that not being there, them not being there, changes things, and so we're looking for new players to step up and fill those roles.
Let's talk about some of those players, whether they be returnees, whether they be freshmen you've brought in. Who are some of the players who you feel, now that they have that opportunity, are poised to take advantage of it?
Well, obviously, Anne-Marie Salino has been one of the key players the last 2 years, and she's a junior, and I think she's one of the top players in the country at the Division III level, and she sees the ice well, and and she makes other players around her better. So we're counting on her, and Tanya Kenny, a senior defenseman from Toronto, who's been a stalwart back there, and for the last 3 years, and now her role has to change a little bit. We need a little bit more out of her than just going out there and being a good defenseman. So we're looking for her to continue to develop. And Karen Levin, a senior from Illinois, who has done a same thing, done a very good job, but very good job now. Is almost not good enough. They need to step up and reach a new level. So those three are key, and then we've got a few freshmen who are going to get thrown right into the fire right away. Anna McNally from the Minnesota Thoroughbreds is a very good player, and Heidi Woodworth from New Jersey to the Taft School, and Nora Bergman from BB&N, and Andrea Bono from Cushing. These four are going to step right in and play and have significant roles. And honestly, one of the keys returning is the goalie. So Lonnie Wright coming back. She had a great year last year as a freshman, and we expect more out of her this year, and she'll rise to the occasion.
Talk a little bit more about Wright's play, because last year certainly that was a question mark going in. Was you had Kate Koger for so many years to rely on, and right from game one, I remember watching that game against Plattsburgh, which obviously didn't go your way, but watching Wright handle the position on the road in that situation, you kind of tell right from the get-go that she was a keeper. How much more comfortable is she now in year two?
Well, I think she's a lot more comfortable, and a lot of the credit I think goes to Lonnie and the way she's prepared and what she's done this summer, and her focus. But a lot of the credit should go to Kate Koget, because we kept Kate around last year as the assistant coach, and Kate spent a lot of time with her in talking to her about different situations, and not just the physical aspect of the game, but the mental approach as well. And I think it's had it's done a world of good for Lonnie, because Lonnie looks up to Kate, and obviously Kate was such a important ingredient of our success, and so I think that's helped a lot. And Lonnie wants to do well. She cares. She wants to be mentioned in the same breath as Kate Koget when they're talking about Middlebury good Middlebury hockey players. She wants to be right there with her. So she has a goal, and I think that it's attainable for her.
You mentioned preparing kind of business as usual. Just out of curiosity, you've had teams, I'm sure, that were young, teams that were more experienced, like the one last year. Do you adjust anything about the way you teach the game or approach things with them, especially early on, if the team is younger?
Well, this year's assistant is Emily McNamara, who was one of our great players last year for the last 4 years, and she actually kind of laughed at me the other day and said, "I can't believe how much patience you have." And I think that changes a little bit with playing more first year players, and we've got when field hockey eventually ends, we'll have 19 skaters, and of the 19 skaters, 11 of them will be freshmen and sophomores. So it's pretty significant, and they're all playing. They're all playing significant roles. So. You've got to have patience. We play a little bit of a different system. There's a lot more thinking involved with the way we play than most of the high school kids when they come in here. So there's a lot going on, and throw that in there with their academics and being away from home and maybe a little homesick at times, and so with not having those the 6 seniors from last year, that. It does make a little bit of a difference, and you have to have a little bit more patience.
Well, let's talk about the season opener, and this event, I guess the Panther Cardinal Classic is what it's called now, has really become one of the highlights of the D3 season. You've got 3 top 5 teams again on hand, a lot of NCAA championships to the credit of Middlebury, Elmira, and Plattsburgh. You open against the Soaring Eagles. Tell me a little bit about the weekend, your expectations and your goals for the team and starting out here.
Well, we want to play well, and that's obviously that's our goal, is to see how well it can play. We've been on the ice since November 1st, so a little bit of a disadvantage, but it's okay. We understand that, and we've got a weekend where it's a non-NESCAC weekend, and we want to play, as always, the best teams that we can play. And it just so happens that we've got this tournament that is going back and forth between Middlebury and Plattsburgh, and Kevin Hull and I are pretty good friends, and we think it's a great opportunity to highlight women's hockey at the D3 level, and to play good hockey right off the bat. And so we're excited. We want to see how far we've come since November 1st. We know it won't be our finished product, but we know we're going to play a very good team tomorrow. Elmira is very good, very well coached. They've got very good players, and I know that they've got sights on the NCAAs at the end of the year. So, they'll come in. This will be a big game, and I know they'll be ready to play, and it should be an exciting weekend.
From the sharp angle, fires and she scores! Jennifer Bottrell from along the goal line. Quick one-timer, scored! Jada Hefford, her second of the night. Exquisite finishing touch. Apps on a breakaway. Apps moving in. Wrist shot, she scored! Jillian Apps, the breakaway speed and finishing ability.
Welcome back. Between periods 2 and 3, hear the thoughts of Bill Manigo. And, as I said, the one thing you can't really teach is speed. And Middlebury, young, experienced, whatever, they always have a plethora of players who can get up and down, and that has definitely been a big factor in this one. But really, it's also been on the shoulders of Middlebury's go-to offensive player. You look at the score sheet, 15, 15, 15 is all over the place. Anne-Marie Salino with 2 goals and a primary assist, and looks like she has found a running mate in the former freshman Anna McNally. McNally, with her first collegiate goal, also had the secondary assist on Salino's second, and McNally has had 2 or 3 other golden opportunities where she has just missed the target. So those two have wreaked havoc against Elmira. Elmira's best offensive combination, perhaps not coincidentally, Lauren DePaul and Jenna McCall, 2 smallest players also who rely on speed and quickness. But the Soaring Eagles having a little bit of problems right now generating the kind of offense they need. They're getting shots from distance, but they're not getting shots from in tight. And right now find themselves in a 3-1 hole, also on the short end of the player situation, as Amanda Ritzel still has a minute 29 to serve on her latest penalty, as you can see on the scoreboard. So for Paul Nemitz-Carlson Soaring Eagles, it's get through this first 90 seconds unscathed and then set about the task of trying to come back against Middlebury here in the third period at Kenyon Arena. As Plattsburgh awaits the winner in tomorrow's championship game, the Cardinals extending their unbeaten streak to 34 consecutive with a workmanlike 2-1 victory against the Williams East earlier this afternoon. We talk about the exploits of Anne-Marie Salino tonight. Danielle Blanchard was up to her usual tricks earlier this afternoon with 2 goals to pace the attack there. And so Middlebury will go left to right in the home whites and navy helmets and navy pants. Elmira and the road purples with gold lettering and gold trim. Tiffany Hart down behind her own net. Molly Vitto takes over for the Panthers, and Salino saucers up top to Karen Levin. Levin bats it into space. McNally picking it up in the corner. Gets help in the form of Randy Dumont. Dumont wrestled to the ice from behind by Tiffany Hart. And hand pass going to be the call, and no penalty here, so we'll just bring the draw outside the zone on the USCHO game of the week. And it is November 17th, and I'm not sure my mom is watching, but Mom, if you are, very happy birthday to you. Sorry I couldn't be there today, but I'll see you on Thanksgiving in a couple of days. As it looks like Kayla Cody's going to be chased from the face-off circle, and Dumont takes advantage, capitalizing for the win. Middlebury gets the dump down, With a minute to go on their power play, Coverly staring at the action below her own end line. Salino cruising in and intercept the breakout attempt. Elmira looking for the clear. Levin settles down the bouncing puck, though, and it winds back below the end line as Vitt takes over. Godwin closing the distance with Salino a little more. Even on the 4-on-5, it's a zone, but they're very aware of where 15 in white goes. And now she's in the midst of the scrum trying to dig it free, and does so with some help from Molly Vitt. Nice kick out to Levin. Let's fly with a tip in front. Coverly just watching at it. She took a hit on the pads in front, and now comes diving out of her crease to play it. That puck was kind of in no man's land. Not quite close enough to easily clamp. Not quite far enough for it to be out of harm's way, so she just kind of stared at it for about 3 seconds and finally came diving out to clamp. Still 23 seconds left on the Ritzel minor. As Dumont will take the draw. Partial changes. Salino is still out there. McNally is still out there. But Kenny has now replaced Levin at the top. And McNally digs it free. Beats the defender off the wall. Trying to go to the front. Was off balance when she took the shot and it fluttered wide. McNally continues to show good stick skills and good elusiveness at 5'3". Got another penalty here. Whoa, body's going down hard after the whistle as well. Salino tripped up as she got together with Kivy. Salino a little bit slow getting to her feet, but will skate off under her own power. And the call is going to be made for hooking. Initially, I thought this was on Elmira, but Middlebury had possession of the puck when the whistle came out. And so it actually is going to be Salino who is the guilty party. Yeah, so Salino will sit for 2. And so a big opportunity for Elmira. They only have 7 seconds before Ritzel can return. And then they will move to a power play of their own. And an important power play at that, facing a 2-goal deficit here early in the third period. Nice tip pass in stride. Here comes Lauren DePaul and Jenna McCall. As we mentioned, they've been the most potent combination. DePaul spinning away from the check of Tanya Kenny, leaves it down low for McCall. Near side to Kayla Cody. Cody from the angle whips one in front, and Wright is right there to catch it and hold on. Kayla Cody near side, trying to whip it through traffic. Broken up by Erica Nakamura, and Nakamura gets the clearance. Minute 23 to go on the Salino minor. Of course, having Salino in the box, always a disadvantage. He logs significant penalty killing minutes. But good work being done here by the second PK unit of Barros and Nakamura. Here's Farron Hart, though, freeing herself for a nice wrist shot. Hart's been active offensively. That's patted away by Wright. And Nakamura will blast it all the way down. Kayla Cody, near side, gets a little bit of a pick from Ritzel. Goes left wing side to Farron Hart, and Hart dips it deep to the zone. Hart over skates, trying to get underneath Andrea Bono with 35 seconds to play on this Elmira power play that hasn't gotten that much done. But here's Laxton trying to change that, moving to the far corner. Putting the brakes on, losing on the poke check to Karen Levin. Levin looking for the clearance. Tiffany Hart foils it. Throws it toward the cage. It rolls through untouched. A lot of players in the way, but got through to the back wall. Kayla Cody up now. Ritzel, nice screen in front, but the shot did not go through. Cody protecting, using that size. Nice pass in front to DePaul, but it rolled off her blade, and we're back to 5-a-side in 3 seconds as the puck goes down by Allison Coverly. Salino out of the box and into the play. Up left wing side. Ooh, heavy contact applied and let go. Steal by DePaul. In walks Lauren DePaul. On the backhand, right with a pad save, and she holds on. So Lauren DePaul, who's been Elmira's best offensive player for much of the evening, has their only goal. Was looking for number 2 there off a turnover. But she went to the backhand, right, using that 5'8" frame to close down the angle and keep this a 3-1 game for the Panthers. Off the draw, Steele Norton with a drive. It's blocked, and now a transition time the other way. Racing down the ice, Erica Nakamura fakes, goes to the backhand, and Coverly makes a great save. The right stops DePaul at one end. Coverly foils Nakamura at the other. As the game stays at Middlebury 3 and Elmira 1. 3:45 gone in this third period as Cody will come out to take the defensive zone draw for the Soaring Eagles. Opposite Jess Bennett for the Middlebury Panthers. Jamie Kivy off the draw win by Cody. Looking ahead, man, has Shears available. Nakamura harassing from behind. Forces the turnover, and Bennett bumps it into the zone. Steele Norton down in the far corner. Sends off the wall. Floats it on ahead. Nice play by Anastasia Steele Norton to beat the forecheck herself, then blasts one in on right, who thought about playing it aside and then held on to be safe. Shots on goal, 27-21 Panthers here with 15:47 on the third period clock. Off the draw, Salino. Dipsy doodles her way through a couple of checks and feeds McNally over the line. McNally settles it down, trying to go back to Salino back door. As those two have hooked up for a combined 5 points tonight. Didn't find the finishing touch there. Here's a chance, Heidi Woodworth. Woodworth had the assist on a broken play for Salino's second goal. Picking up her first collegiate point in the process. So McNally and Woodworth are both off and running in their college careers. Melanie Henshaw knifing through the neutral zone. Henshaw gains the line. That shot was blocked by Tanya Kenny. Tiffany Hart providing support. Puck rolling along the red line. Kayla Cody trying to tip it forward. Cody into the offensive zone. Bodied off by McNally. And Molly Vitt now out to center. Having her stick held. And there's going to be a penalty. As I believe it was Tori McNeil who might have gotten a grip on Molly Vitt's lumber. And the call made for holding the stick. So again, Middlebury staked to a power play here, up 3-1, trying to find a little more security with 14:55 on the third period clock. And indeed, it is the Middlebury transfer McNeil who is headed off for two. Paul Nemitz-Carlson's going to send that McCall-DePaul duo out to start up front with Steele Norton and Kivy manning the blue line. This 4-on-5. Middlebury is going to counter with, looks like Nakamura, Nora Bergman, Ashley Barros, Tanya Kenny, and Andrea Buono on the power play. Kenny behind her own net. Near side it comes, Buono. Wheeling away from DePaul. Middlebury a little bit unsure of itself here. And that might be a sign of youth as well. Power play management a little bit to be desired here as Nakamura sends up left wing. Buono bumped down hard. That keeps Middlebury pinned down. Elmira's PK doing a nice job here. DePaul breaking things up again. Finally through center comes Barros. Barros has some speed, has Bergman available, but as she tried to tee it up, lost on the poke check. Nakamura far side providing support. That's taken away though by Steele Norton and blasted all the way down. Lonnie Wright away from her crease to play it up to Karen Levin. Elmira trying to steal a change. Barros trying to catch them in that change, but Tiffany Hart recovers to her position. Barros trying to turn the corner. Hart holding her ground. McNally blocks a pass with her skate, but the force of the clearing attempt rockets it all the way around and out. Levin back to play it with 40 seconds to go in this Middlebury power play, which has had very little doing thus far. Lobbed on through center. Tiffany Hart trying to attack shorthanded on the right wing side. Poke checked away by Molly Vitt. Randy Dumont's available. So is Salino. And here she comes over the line. Salino, but offsides. Vitt in protest, but she had to skate in too soon, according to the linesman. So we'll get the stoppage. And the whistle. 13-14 to play in the third. 19 seconds on the McNeil minor. And Middlebury still up by a pair by a count of 3-1. Off the draw, bumped out of the zone by the Soaring Eagles. And that's going to just about do it for the power play. Elmira needs to mount an offensive surge here as through center comes Julia Ireland, monitored by Catherine Shears. Ireland with possession down low. Bodied up still by Shears. Frees herself. Chance maybe here for Salino. Puts a backhander in front. Coverly reaching for it. Where is it? By the side of the cage. Finally kicked free. And Tiffany Hart will reverse it wisely to Kayla Cody as we're back to 5-a-side. Cody with a nice headman to Tori McNeil out of the penalty box. McNeil with speed over the line. Fans on the wrist shot attempt. Trying to drag it through Margaret McDonald. McDonald's been playing a nice defensive game. Keeping it simple tonight and gets the clear. Cody headed off on a change. Gets it into Middlebury real estate first. Bumped around near side. Kivy couldn't handle it. Stepping underneath. Here comes Molly Vitt. Molly Vitt in space, right wing side, trying to tee up a wrist shot. That was deflected wide by Amanda Ritzel. And here's Ritzel in the circle of her own zone on the headman to Tori McNeil. McNeil must be near the end of her shift. Double teamed in the circle. Lost on the poke check and back the other way. Nora Bergman. Bergman on right wing. Content to play dump and chase with 11:50 to go in the third. Molly Vitt. Skate to stick transfer. The handoff is to Bergman. Bergman setting up shot behind the net. Leaves now for Ashley Barrows. Vitt is the player available in front. Farron Hart monitoring down low against Bergman. Middlebury continues to establish its cycling. And now Hart finally breaks things up in the corner. Fans on the clear, though. It's stolen by Barrows. Barrows far side matched up against Kivy. Now Hart against Bergman. And Farron Hart works it around looking for Ritzel. Goes through her stick. Karen Levin rotates over trying to block the clear and does. It's lying by her skates. McNally is now on. Finally dug free by McNeil. And McNeil and Karen Kohlauer are away 2-on-2. Kohlauer from long range. The slap shot did not reach the target. Down in the corner, it's McNally. In forward position. Losing though on the poke check, Kayla Cody. Cody trying to step underneath the defender. And it's Barrows to McNally. McNally through center ice. McNally with speed, trying to put on the moves. Dumped to the ice by Steele Norton, who got the gloves up too high. And high sticking's going to be the call here as McNally draws the penalty. Middlebury staked once again to the power play. McNally will stay on with Salino, Dumont, Molly Vitt, and Karen Levin. The customary top power play unit looks like Cody Shears, Tiffany Hart, and Erica Godwin as Salino tees one up off the draw and whistles it just wide, bidding for the hat trick. McNally down low with help from Vitt. They gain control along the perimeter. Salino in the corner now. Steps underneath the check. Salino behind the net on the backhand. All kinds of space for her to operate. Up now to Levin, right back Salino. Here she comes from the far side, trying to center. That was tipped away. Foot race is on. Salino bothering Godwin. McNally over to seal off. Vitt there as well. Shears battling hard for the Soaring Eagles with 1:25 to go on this latest penalty to Elmira. Batted up the near side wall and down, so Levin back in neutral ice will regroup. Slinging it far side, finding Dumont. Dumont over the line with a drive. Blocker to side by Allison Coverly. Erica Nakamura working her way behind the net. Kicks to the near side point. Kenny with the drive, but there was no Middlebury player in front, so an easy catch and hold for Allison Coverly. Stoppage will allow Paul Nemitz-Carlson to change up his penalty killing unit. DePaul now to take the draw against Barrows. 55 seconds to work with on this Middlebury power play. Panthers still with a 3-1 lead. Nakamura on a barrel to the front, dispossessed from behind, shouldered hard by Jamie Kivy. Kivy might have gotten away with one there as Nakamura shakes off the cobwebs and goes back to work on the right wing side. This time she's bumped hard from behind, and there is going to be a penalty this time. A little bit of cumulative damage against Erica Nakamura, and the call finally made for checking. So 40 seconds of 5-on-3 time, and once again, Elmira perhaps teetering here. 9:12 to go in the third period. Already down a pair. Now down a pair of skaters as well. Top power play unit is back out there. And they have an offensive zone draw as Dumont will take it at the edge of the circle. Salino fishes it free. Leaves for Levin. Good harassment by McCall, even in the 3-on-5, but now Middlebury is set up. Salino blows a tire along the blue line. That allows McCall to get the steal and the clear. Good tenacity by Jenna McCall here, 3-on-5. Salino, stick handling, gliding over the line. Again, offsides the call. And again, it's Vitt, who was a little bit over anxious and thought she had tagged up. We'll get the stoppage here with 16 seconds of 5-on-3 time. So a critical face-off for that situation. And Dumont will take it opposite Cody. McNally trying to force it forward. They were onside. McNally working her way to the front. McNally on the backhand, trying to go a 5-hole, and Coverly shuts it down. McNally has that good burst. Doesn't really kind of let the throttle out when she's in open ice, but when she gets in close quarters, very tough to mark at only 5'3", but really has that extra gear in tight, the shiftiness, and of course the soft hands and the sticky stick to hold on to it in traffic. Tiffany Hart off the draw in by Cody. 5-on-3 is just about over, and here comes Steele Norton into the play just as Cody gets the clear. Till a minute 17 to work with 5-on-4 with Kivy in the box. 8:25 to go in the third period. McNally left wing side. Vitt driving. McNally takes the shot herself, and Coverly will hold on for the draw as both teams going for full changes. Clean draw win by Nakamura. Kenny with a quick wrist shot. Deflection in front. It hits the side of the cage as Nakamura got a piece of it, and it beat Coverly, but just stayed out by a matter of inches. That puck tantalizing at the edge of the crease and rolling up the side of the cage. It did not go in. Nakamura a little bit snake bit tonight offensively. Was stuffed on that breakaway, and right there on the beautiful deflection, missing by about 6 inches. Elmira trying to get the clear, and they will. It's chopped on ahead. Tori McNeil digging forward against Tanya Kenny. Kenny holds her ground against the smaller McNeil. Nora Bergman trying to advance through center. That was broken up, and Karen Kohlauer will loft it all the way down with 35 to go on the Kibbe minor and 7:45 on the third period clock. Bodies getting together hard on the far side. Shorthanded opportunity by Kohlauer, whistles off the blocker of Lonnie Wright. Things getting a little bit discombobulated here for both teams. Elmira trying to capitalize shorthanded, but could not convert. And here's Nakamura again. In front, it's Barrows trying to get it across the Barrows. The puck is rolling free, but didn't go through cleanly as it was partially blocked. And here goes Jenna McCall, 4-on-5 at the tail end of the PK. McCall sweeping wide with her team changing behind her. 1 foot over the boards is Kivy. And there's going to be a penalty to the Panthers. Excellent penalty kill there by Jenna McCall. Mentioned even in the 3-on-5, she broke up a couple of plays and got a clear. And there, her hard work is rewarded with a minor penalty against the Panthers, as Margaret McDonald will climb over the boards into the sin bin for 2. And Middlebury will have to kill off his latest Elmira power play to preserve its 3-1 lead. Shots 31 for the Panthers, 22 for the Soaring Eagles. 7-4 modest totals in this third period. Neither team has been able to add to its goal-scoring total. DePaul in front, dangerous on the doorstep, charging after it. Henshaw couldn't get a shot away. Steele Norton will. That whistles through to the back wall. Loose puck gathered by Jenna McCall, tipped off her stick for the moment. On the near side, the battle is on, and Salino, shorthanded, will move forward. Salino cruising up left wing, steps between 2 defenders. Salino still with it, and she works her way down deep to the zone. Double team there. McNally in to help out, though. Finally fished free. Salino right back on it. Just content to kill off some time. Will turn and hammer it to the corner as she heads off for a well-deserved change. Salino doing it at both ends. 2 goals and a primary assist. The offensive end, and right there showing the penalty-killing prowess on defense. Anastasia Steele Norton back behind her own end line. Winding around near side. Lauren DePaul up now. Jenna McCall. McCall floating through center ice on the left wing side. Trailer is Henshaw. Nakamura gets between. 55 seconds to go on the minor penalty to McDonald. Elmira yet to really have a consistent setup here as Middlebury remains aggressive, but Henshaw fires away from the sharp angle. Wright might have got a piece with his shoulder. Jenna McCall down low. Levin got a stick between her legs, but as the call went down, we play on, and Steele Norton fires away right high on the crease with a big collision outside the goal mouth, able to make the save through traffic, and Middlebury gets the clearance as it's sent all the way down. Steele Norton, left wing side it goes. Tiffany Hart collides with Tanya Kenny. Kayla Cody's dump in intercepted by Heidi Woodworth. 12 seconds to go on the minor penalties. Woodworth legs it out of harm's way and backhands it deep. Kivy leaves on the bump to Tiffany Hart. Hart, the drop pass in her own zone, finds Amanda Ritzel. Right back Tiffany Hart. Right wing side it goes Cody. Collision on the blue line. In comes Cody finally with some space to work. Cody trying to tuck it wide. Sweeps behind the cage. Still playmaking. We're back to 5 aside. Cody's centering pass broken up by Randy Dumont. Dumont feeds Salino. Salino finds McNally. It bumps off her skates. That pass not Salino's best as she was at the end of her shift. And McNally will pursue it in the corner with 4:50 to go in the third, and Elmira down a pair to Middlebury 3-1. Cody charging through center. In the high slot. Bothered. Stays on though. Trying to center. Back door. There was a player available. It was Farron Hart, but that was broken up by Woodworth. And a good defensive shift for the freshman defenseman as she gets it out to center ice once again. Dumont chips on ahead. Molly Vitt harassing her opposite number 8, Ritzel. Elmira needs to take some risks, needs to get something going offensively. As over the line, Carly Richardson trying to kickstart this offense, shuttles the wrist shot wide. Huntley down low, goal line extended, finds Catherine Shears. Shears with traffic in front, the shot was knocked down between the circles. Laxton couldn't bring the stick to bear, and a 3-on-2 for the Panthers with Woodworth dealing on right wing. Here comes Barrows. Barrows in space, wrist shot, and that hit the crossbar. Nice spin move by Nakamura trying to free herself far side, but she couldn't tee up the follow. Back the other way, it's Huntley. So Ashley Barrows bidding for a potential knockout blow, but iron unkind for her. And a long lead pass through the stick of Jess Bennett going all the way down. This should be an icing call on the Panthers, and there's the whistle with 3.5 showing on the clock, and Middlebury's still up 3-1. Anne-Marie Salino, 2 goals and an assist. If things hold up, then tomorrow afternoon we'll bring a rematch of last year's and the year before the national championship game, as Middlebury and Plattsburgh would be set to take on each other. And the 5 p.m. game, the championship game of this Panther Cardinal Classic. Here comes Nakamura. Wrist shot from distance. Got a lot on that one. And Coverly, a nice glove save high on the crease. If Elmira cannot rally, they would face Williams in the consolation game starting at 2 p.m. And again, USCHO will have both games tomorrow that you can watch here from Kenyon Arena. Quick whistle from one of the linesmen. I think we have to redo this face-off here. A couple of late substitutions. Looks like Salino and McNally will come on for the offensive zone draw duties. And Elmira wins it cleanly. McNally, though, sweeps it off the stick of Ritzel. Turns it off the wall from Woodworth with a drive blocked in front by Godwin. Or, excuse me, Tiffany Hart. And on right wing goes Karen Kohlauer. Kohlauer with good speed was harassed to the ice. No call. Lawn around near side with 3 to go in the third. And Middlebury a 3-1 advantage. Tanya Kenny. Far side. Now here comes Salino. Salino in stride through center on an island with her team changing behind her. But she still has possession and moves behind the net. Finally disrupted from behind by Ritzel. And now Salino will trudge toward the bench as Jenna McCall tries to spring Kayla Cody through center ice. McCall catches up on right wing, moves into the attack. There's a delayed penalty coming up to the Panthers. Ooh, and players wipe out against the back wall. Looks like both Bono and McCall are okay, and there's going to be a penalty here. I don't know if they hit them for too many men on the ice. There was a puck by the bench as they were trying to change. So I wonder if that's what they're going to call here. With 2:27 on the clock, that would also be an invitation for Elmira to burn its timeout, potentially try to get Coverly to the bench and make it 6-on-4 in their comeback attempt. As you can see the situation on the scoreboard, And it is the bench minor. So looks like Kristen Wilson's going to serve it. That was a close call. I mean, I think it was Salino that might have been the extra skater. She clearly was headed off. Might have still had a skate or two on the ice at that time. But either way, it sets up the last charge of the Elmira Soaring Eagles, as they'll start 5-on-4, but one would imagine you will see Allison Coverly called to the bench at some point to try to make it a two-player advantage, as Elmira needs a pair here in the final 2.5. So Coverly will start out between the pipes. Looks like Cody, Laxton, the two Harts, and Amanda Ritzel will be out there on this power play. Salino, McNally, Levin, and Bono will start 4-on-5 as Lonnie Wright sets up shop with a draw to her left. Coverly is high between the circles of her defensive zone, so presumably she is coming to the bench if they win the draw pretty soon. They do win the draw. Laxton throwing it to the front as Farron Hart had set up shop. Now Coverly's still between the pipes with 1:50 to go on the power play. 2:15 showing on the third period clock. Worked free by Tiffany Hart. Tiffany Hart leaves off the wall Kayla Cody. Cody wheeling away from a check, throws up top. Ritzel lets fly. Pinballing puck goes through to the back wall as Tiffany Hart couldn't knock it home, and she was all along the end line. Now Salino will gather it, sling it cross ice to get it clear, and a quick change with 1:53 to go in the third. Ritzel retreats behind her own net, but time wasting for this Elmira squad. Down 3-1, up a skater, but only 1:40 on the clock, and here's a turnover that won't help the cause as Erica Nakamura steals a pass along the blue line and bats another one off her skate as Tiffany Hart slides it forward. Too far for her older sister. It's fired back down with now only 90 seconds showing on the third period clock. Ritzel saucering it right wing side to Tiffany Hart. Jenna McCall is heading toward the front if anyone can get it to her. McCall will pursue it now behind the cage. Nice stick lift against Heidi Woodward. McCall emerges from the fray with possession. Up top, but through the stick, and now maybe a chance short-handed. Here comes Molly Vitt. Vitt moving in. Vitt, wrist shot, saved by Coverly, and she catches the bobbling puck and keeps her team at least in it for now with 66 seconds to go. Molly Vitt, a short-handed breakaway, trying to go high to the glove side, and Coverly kind of blocked it first with the glove and then snatched it before a rebound could develop. She'll have to draw to her right. With desperation time for Elmira, 39 seconds of power play time that has not gotten going here. Power play has been an area of concern thus far. They were 2 for 18 coming in. They're estimate about 0 for 5 here tonight. And now there's only 1 minute left in regulation as Salino thought she had kept the blue line. Kind of looked quizzically at the linesman. And we had a pretty good view. It did look like she might have kept that puck touching the blue stripe, but the call made for offside, so the draw outside the Elmira zone with 55 seconds to go. And Salino, if the score holds up, has been the story. 2 goals and a primary assist. A beautiful feed to set up Anna McNally. The Salino-McNally combination in his 2-3 has been lethal. There goes Coverly to the bench. Final seconds of the power play, 15 to go on that, 40 to go in the game. It's 6-on-4. Down low, Jenna McCall. McCall loses her edge. Cody trying to dig it free. 30 seconds on the clock. Melanie Henshaw finding Jenna McCall. Power play is over. It's still 6-on-5. Kivy with a drive. That didn't go through. Lauren DePaul far side. Only 15 seconds to go. And time is going to run out here on the Soaring Eagles as Salino digs it free. And Kenny pokes it to center ice. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and the horn's going to sound here. So Bill Mandigo in his 20th season has a young Middlebury squad, but they show early on that they still have some key portions, and they still have Anne-Marie Salino. And that in and of itself will make them a factor on the Division III landscape. Salino with 2 goals, primary assist. Great combination with Anna McNally. Lonnie Wright, 23 saves. Able to best an excellent effort by Allison Coverly. 29 stops for the junior netminder for the Soaring Eagles, including some brilliant ones. But Elmira comes up a bit short on this big ice here at Kenyon Arena. Middlebury wins their season opener by a count of 3-1. They will take on Plattsburgh in the championship game tomorrow at 5 p.m. Elmira will meet Williams in the consolation at 2 p.m. We'll have both those games on video cast here on the USCHO Game of the Week. And hope you'll join us for that. But that's going to just about do it for us here on this Saturday night. So it's Plattsburgh 2-0 over Williams. Middlebury 3-1 over Elmira. And that sets up the showdown that has been the game in Women's Division III hockey over the last couple of seasons. The last two national championship games have come down to the Panthers of Middlebury and the Cardinals of Plattsburgh, and they will get it on early once again tomorrow in the championship game. So Middlebury 3, Elmira 1. Salino with 2 goals in the Panther win. Danielle Blanchard with 2 goals in the Cardinal win. And two of the best in D3 go head-to-head as two of the best teams in D3, ranked 1 and 2. We'll go head-to-head tomorrow. Until then, have a great Saturday night here, and see you back tomorrow for the USCHO Game of the Week, Part 2 of this weekend.